So I'm not really sure where this came from. It is bright and sunny. Came outside, I was like, why is there dust falling from the sky? I mean, it's sunny, except for like a few random rain clouds up top. Right overhead. So, I guess I'm gonna be riding in the rain. Although it does look dark back there. This is the first time that Maya has been in the rain since I've owned her. The guy who sold me the bike actually brought her to me in the rain. If you saw the video I posted about getting her, I think I was talking about that in the why I got an R1. It was torrential downpour on my way up. So the guy came to the place to meet me in the rain. But the whole way back wasn't raining. Oh my gosh, now it's pouring. And I'm in my summer mesh jacket. Now I'm getting soaked. It is incredibly sunny, yet it's downpour. This is awesome. I'm gonna close all my vents because they are all open on my helmet. Why? Alright guys, I am on my way to the gym. I will pick this vlog back up when I leave, and hopefully it's not raining at that point. And we're back. And luckily the rain is not going right now. But I am thoroughly soaked still. So yeah. And I have a cop behind me, so I don't know where I want to go. I'm just riding around for now. So today's topic, and now that I've just noticed it, I am low on gas. That's why this light is on. Before I got 15 comments asking what the light is on my dash. That is the low fuel light. Anyways, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a couple months now, since I had my bike stolen. And that is liability versus comprehensive or collision insurance. If you haven't bought insurance for yourself before, you may not be familiar with these terms, but these are the different levels of, roughly, the different main levels of coverage you can get for your insurance. And each of these three words account for the bulk of your insurance cost. Liability being the first main bulk, in that you have to have liability insurance in order to operate a vehicle. That is the absolute minimum, and that covers you in an accident that's your fault, but it doesn't cover anything else. So if you get into an accident and it's your fault, your insurance will cover the damages that you caused to the other person. This is relatively cheap compared to full coverage with collision and comprehensive. To give you a rough estimate, and I'll make this clear, these estimates are exactly that. They're estimates. They can range a hell of a lot depending on what bike you're riding, how old you are, how long you've been riding, and your accident history, as well as your location. You know, whether you're in the ghetto or in the safest part of the city. So, is that cop still back there? So liability is your first main cost. My SV650 that I bought when I was 21. When I was 21, I only had liability insurance on it. I paid it in full. I owned the bike outright. It was worth between $3,000 and $4,000. I decided that if I was going to get into an accident, it would either be someone else's fault and they'd have to pay for it, or if it was my fault, I was willing to front the cost of whatever damages happened to the bike. I felt I could take that risk, so I just went with liability. It's dirt cheap, and I didn't think I needed it anymore because of the value of the bike. That cost me $90 a year for insurance coverage. So that comes to under $10 a month for liability insurance on an SV650. When I upgraded to the R6, which I purchased when I was 22, let's go right on Anderson Mill. When I purchased when I was 22, that liability insurance would have been around $400 for the year. Because of the value of the bike, I wanted full coverage. I didn't want to have to worry about if it was stolen, if I got in a wreck, having to foot $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, whatever they decided the bike was worth. I didn't want to have to front that many thousands of dollars in the event of that. So I went with full coverage. Full coverage, when I say that, I mean comprehensive and collision. Now, oh crap. That was the exit. I thought that was Spicewood. My bad. Alright, we'll take the next one. So, comprehensive, or collision is exactly that. It covers you in the event of a crash. Comprehensive covers you in the event of everything else. You know, the wind blows it over, your bike's stolen, you drop something on it. Depending on the insurance company, they put things under different levels of comprehensive coverage, but that's a rough basis. Collision covers you in the event of a crash. Comprehensive covers you in every other case it's not a crash. So I got full coverage, liability, comprehensive, collision, all of the above. And that cost between $1,500 and $2,000 for a year, US dollars, on an R6, 600cc motorcycle, super sport. Varies depending on insurance company, what they constituted as, but for a 22-year-old with the 600, it was between $1,500 and $2,000 for a year. Then my bike was stolen, so luckily I had that coverage. Switched to a R1. Now, this is where things got interesting for me, because I had Progressive with my R6. I got a quote from Progressive for the R1. It was going to cost me $4,000 for a year to cover it full coverage. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. So I switched to State Farm, and I'm paying slightly less than what I was paying for a year for the R6. So it's almost the same, but just barely slightly less. And that's for full coverage on a 1,000cc motorcycle. So what I want to talk about here is which one do you need? So that gives you an estimate on the pricing. Oh, and to let you know, the SV650, that was $90 for the year for liability. For full coverage, it would have cost me $400. $400 was what the R6 would be with liability only. So, yeah, those are the numbers. So which one do you need? Like I said, with my SV, I decided that the value of the bike, between $3,000 and $4,000, was low enough that anything that would happen to it, I was okay losing that. By saving that money in coverage. In retrospect, I could have spent the 300 extra bucks, got full coverage, and not had to worry about anything. In the end, nothing happened to the bike, so I didn't have to worry about that. It's not like an R6, and it's highly stolen. I decided that liability was fine for me. If you've been riding forever, if you got a steady job, you got a money cushion, if you just decide that you're okay losing out on the value of your bike if it's stolen, or you get in a terrible crash that's your fault, liability is where it's at. It's super cheap. If you ride a lot, you do a lot of spirited riding, if your bike is worth a good amount, you're going to want to look at comprehensive and collision. But you want to look at these separate. They're not the same. It's not comprehensive collision together. You can't do anything else. These are you can choose these separately. If you think that you won't get into a crash, you don't do much spirited riding, but you park it in some places where you think it could be stolen, just go with comprehensive. If you think that if you do a lot of spirited riding, but it's always parked in your garage, if you're not riding it, just go with collision. Don't get comprehensive. You'll save a bunch of money. It's comprehensive and collision add about the same amount. From what I've gathered in the quotes that I've gotten before, comprehensive and collision are going to add about the same each. So what comprehensive will add above liability, collision will add the same amount on top of that. So yeah, weigh your options, look at the riding you do, look at the value of your bike and how much you're willing to front in cost if something happens. Remember, I always raise my deductible to the absolute max. That saves you a bunch, and that's usually about $1,000, the max deductible. That just means if something happens, you'll pay $1,000 and they'll pay anything over that. So like when my bike was stolen, I paid $1,000 and they covered everything, the value of the bike over $1,000. So look at that. That's what you'll be looking at in costs. Weigh your options, what kind of riding you do, where your bike's going to be, how much it's worth. And if you got any questions, let me know. I'll try to... I mean, obviously I'm not like the absolute expert on all of this, but I've done it enough times that I know what you're going to be looking at. Also, it may work differently in other countries, but this is generally how it works, and this is how it's going to work in the US. So, yeah, I'll try to help anyone out who's got a comment. Leave it if you got it. I'm going to go ride around, try to dry off a little more. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Great,
but it just feels super stable.
And it's electric. You're not
a little more
at all.
Higher quality. Even though it's not necessarily higher quality, but
in your bike.
So it's pretty sweet. Much more grounded.
I know.
Than something that's lighter. Car fanatic.